huge country fan, but they have a little rock edge to them. Try that again. Somebody likes dancing back there. So I'm heading west on 8th Avenue, aka Stephen Avenue Mall. It's mainly a pedestrian mall, but there's shared usage as well with bicycles. And certain times of the day, cars can travel down here. When I moved to Calgary in '77, it was 100% pedestrian, no cars. And I think that was incorporated in 1971. Prior to that, it was just a regular street. Here is the old Bank of Montreal building. It was repurposed back in late 90s sometime as A&B Sound. Now it's Good Life Fitness. Every major city in Canada has a building like that, Bank of Montreal. Probably built around 1900 or a little sooner. Here is the Hudson Bay store, no more. All Bay stores across Canada closed down. I think the company was founded in 1670 or something like that. Now they're gone. I got lots of time on this light, so I can stop. About 2-3 years before the Bay shut down, Guild Steakhouse, the restaurant, took over a portion of the main floor, and they're still in there. Back in the day, my favorite place to eat used to be on the corner here called the Prospector, but it's been gone for decades. Looking back, you can see City Hall. And on my left coming up is the old Palace Theatre. That was one of my haunts when I was a kid. Back in the day, all of the movie theaters, and I mean all of them, were located downtown. Now they're all out in the suburbs. This was repurposed. It's still a venue for concerts and bands and that kind of thing.
Yeah, probably not. Oh my goodness.
And there's the new Unicorn. The old Unicorn used to be a lower level bar in the Lancaster building here. They were there for decades. Really cozy Irish pub. And for a long time it was owned by the Canadian band, the Irish Rovers. Not sure who owns them now. A lot of these e-scooter share ride systems here in Calgary. Well, there's two companies that operate. One is called Neuron, and I forget what the other company is called. Bird, maybe? Yeah, Bird. And light has changed, so I'm going to keep going. Yeah, I don't pan up too often. Calgary has become a home of skyscrapers. When I moved here, there was only a handful. Now there's dozens. And these plus 15 walkways that connect buildings, they're called plus 15 because they're plus 15 meters above the ground. I read somewhere that Calgary has 86 of them in the downtown core. These sculptures were put up back in the 90s sometime, and I think they're supposed to represent trees. It's an artist's interpretation of trees. But they also, I've heard, cut down on the wind tunnel that can sometimes be felt down 8th Avenue. That's Bankers Hall. There's two towers that are basically twins. One was completed in '94. I think it's that one there. And the other one was opened a few years later, back in '97. And yeah, it's pretty busy down here now. So but as we get towards the end of the pedestrian section of 8th Avenue, things die down. It's back to regular street up ahead here. And that's girls. Another plus 15 above my head. Still quite a few restaurants and bars down at this end of the mall. Cactus Club. Been in there a couple times. It's more or less like a Moxie's kind of thing. So these e-share, here's a whole bunch of them. The e-scooter, e-bike share. You just install the app on your phone to unlock it, and away you go. I don't know how much it costs, but they're super convenient. I see people, we have over 1,000 kilometers of bike path in Calgary, dedicated bike path. So you see people zipping all over like that. And they're governed at 20 kilometers per hour, but that being said, nobody walks that speed, and they're perfectly legal on sidewalks. So if you're walking down a sidewalk and you want to pass somebody who's walking in front of you, my advice to you is shoulder check. Yeah, it's quite quiet down at this end. High's Steakhouse. I think this used to be the original Holt Renfrew, and then it switched to that, and that used to be the Eatons over there. Or vice versa, but I'm pretty sure that was the Eatons. So this is 7th Ave. It runs east-west, and the C train is free along this corridor all the way down 7th. I'm going to cross here in a second.
This train 69th Street.
That's the old provincial court, or was it federal? I forget. Now they built the two-story, or the tall building there, and it encompasses both provincial and federal courts. Just a little glimpse of downtown. I was thinking of walking to Princess Island Park because that's beautiful from there, that whole park, but maybe another day. People typically just congregate here during lunch. Lots of green space like this in downtown Calgary. And the fountain's a nice touch. If it's a really hot day, you can sit along here and cool down. I just did a loop through that park and I'm back on the C train platform. I've never counted how many of these stations there are along 7th Avenue. They rebuilt them years ago and put them in different locations to accommodate 4-car string. In the past, everything was 3-car. So they've extended the length of the platform for that and rebuilt everything. Oh. I think that about sums it up. I might take another walk through downtown. Got to hit a store on 8th Avenue, so. Artist at work. Yeah, Calgary is the cleanest city I've seen, like out of many. Cleanest Canadian city by far, that's for sure. And I've heard even in the world they rank up there in the top 10. There's a shop looking down 7th Ave. And since I got to walk late, I can stop here. There we go. And we're going to walk back down 8th Avenue heading east. I'm going to go to Winners. Now I'm heading east on 8th Avenue again. I just passed under those large metal sculptures. And this used to be called Dakota's. I used to go here back in the 90s after work. Now it's called Local Public Eatery. What a trendy poser-like name. Okay, so I'm walking past the same stuff I saw a little while ago, but just the opposite direction. Personally, I never got into the whole cowboy thing. I'm kind of a Stampede Scrooge. I have reached my destination.
You and I.
Yes, now I'm in the heart of downtown. And I'm heading north. I believe this is 3rd Street, though I didn't check. And this will take you straight into Prince's Island Park, which I said I wasn't going to go to today. Who knows? And the entire way there's little gardens like this and bench seating. They have to upgrade this. This is done during the Olympics. Back in '88. Or I guess they would have developed all this sidewalk here probably mid-'80s. Not much to see from here. Calgary Tower is way over to my left a few blocks. There's more skyscrapers and downtownness. Pretty much each way you look. This place here is a little too open. They did away, this is all brand new pavement here, so they did do away with some of that brick sidewalk back there, but I preferred those gardens better. This is too open. They had beautiful trees right where I'm standing, and they ripped it all out for this. They still got another section of garden and seating here, which is nice. Go figure. If there was a shady place here, I would sit down. Now it's 4th Avenue and 3rd Street. Same shit. Same skyscrapers and plus 15s. It's 30 degrees here today. But in Calgary, you don't notice the heat because it's quite dry. If it was 30 in a city like Winnipeg, where it's much more humid, or Toronto, it would feel like 40 degrees. So, but it's still hot. So now I'm a couple of blocks from Prince's Island Park. just on the north side of downtown. And that's looking back downtown south. And that's looking east that way. So, coming up is the downtown Sheraton Hotel right in front of me there. I stayed there a few times with company functions. We'd have Christmas parties, and if we partied too late into the night, they would always comp us a room for the night. See, there's some nice seating areas, but it's sunny. Too bright. I'm looking for some shade. Now we're in front of the Sheraton, going into Princess Island Park. They tore down Eau Claire Shopping Center a couple of years ago. And that's another local public eatery. We saw one of those downtown as well. So, yeah.
Oh, you did that.
They redeveloped this. This used to be a nice green space right where my camera is pointed. And now they've put this surface down for scooters, bikes, maybe skateboards, I don't know. There's the YMCA, YWCA. So they got a lot of tables and chairs pushed to the side. Looks like an obstacle course for e-scooters. So all that dirt over there was where Eau Claire was, the market, the mall, the movie theaters. Straight ahead of me is Princess Island Park. There's another look back. And we're almost there. They even have a little mock beach set up here now. There used to be a really nice wading pool and water park here. They put sand here. We're getting into some shade finally. So to my right over here is a large pond. It's fed by the Bow River that runs just on the other side. In the winter, this is frozen for ice skating, public skating rink. And there used to be a fountain, there probably still is, it's just not switched on. A big geyser fountain right where my camera is pointing. No longer. Cafe Croissant. Lots of Stampede stuff happening. To my right is a long promenade bike path, as well as to the left too. Calgary has over 1,000 kilometers of dedicated bike path. And this is one of the nicest journeys along here. I'll walk up here just a little bit. So there's more of those e-scooters, and that's the bike lane over there, and it does merge with this for a little bit. But this ahead of me is all dedicated pedestrian only. It goes for a long ways, so I'm not going to walk it. But it's hundreds of meters worth of bench like that, seating all the way along, which is really nice. And this looks tempting, but I've come here many times over the years. I usually find a nice patch of grass to sit on. And that's what makes this an island in front of me, is this canal. Because on the other side over there is the Bow River. Yeah, you've got a shoulder check, even when you're walking. And this railing is new. It's a beautiful park, this. So you kind of get the idea. But it is a very large park island. It stretches pretty much the entire length of downtown. And there's a lot of stuff set up over here for Stampede, some tents. I don't want to bother with that. But I will find a patch of grass up here where I like to sit in the shade. Yeah, it's hot. Whew. I usually sit to the left or to the right up here in the shade. Plenty of options. I think I might go over here. I was gonna sit here, but too much of an incline. I'll sit here. There's a little footbridge there. And the river, see those two benches? That's the river just on the other side of that. Yeah, just leaving the place where I was sitting for a while. Maybe I'll walk out onto the bridge over there and then head back home. They're doing a sound check on one of the stages over there. Bow River is still really high. 3 weeks ago it was really low and nice and clear, but now it's higher. It's picked up more sediment. A lot of rain and snow melt in the mountains this year, which gives the water a more murky appearance. It looks more like the Assiniboine. Well, the sun has taken a little holiday behind a cloud up there. I have no fear it will return with a vengeance again. It is quite hot. Yes, and it's getting sunny again. I waited 10 seconds and the sunshine is back.
It's not bad.
So this weekend, I think Billy Idol is playing. He's either playing today. There's a few big name bands playing today here. What I like about this park is it's downtown. Anybody working in one of those office buildings, they get their hour lunch, they could come here.
Really?
And to my left, further over there, there's a natural wetland area. It's really nice, a lot of waterfowl and birds and that. And all this time I've been walking and sitting on the grass and everything here, I've gotten one mosquito bite. If I was in Winnipeg, I would have had 50 by now.
It was called Eau Claire Lumber. This whole area now is called Eau Claire.
And oops. And there's downtown. I might take a walk over this way to see where the bands are setting up. Nice thing about this park is the city keeps it really well looked after, the landscaping and flowers and everything. And the grass is really well kept. So I could take that path, but I'm going to go this way, across this open field. Looks like there's a kids' playground over there. Fairly big one. And that's a restaurant straight in front of me there. And more of the city skyline from here. A portion of it. And it looks like this portion of the park is cordoned off in front of me for the festival, for the concert. Tickets are for sale over there. I'm going to go inquire to see what's available, how much, and who's playing. And you'll see there's lots of picnic tables. Yeah, the fences go all the way along, and there's a main stage over there. Permanent stage. So that's the River Cafe. And this portion of the park is closed because of that festival. Otherwise, you could walk to the end of the island and grab a bench there. So Lime is the other company. So there's Bird, Lime, and Neuron operating in Calgary for the rideshare e-bikes and e-scooters. For whatever the reason, they've closed this off. Maybe just during Stampede, I'm not sure why. Because that's typically open to the public to walk down there and have photos taken. Nothing stopping us from walking down here, which I will. Yeah, what a deterrent. Gee, I'll never figure it out. And at the very end, you can make out part of the Calatrava Peace Bridge. I'm not going to walk all the way there. I could get to it on the other side here, but you can see that through there. One last look before I split.
down, I'ma buy her diamonds and pearls. And that don't mean that she's materialistic. I know she fell in love with me because I'm a lyrical mystic. We stare in the whip in the sunshine and sharing and singing these things. I'm in love.
And there's the Mock Beach. If I was to go to the right, I mentioned earlier in this video, it's hundreds of meters of benches and promenade going all the way to the Peace Bridge and beyond. If I was to go to the left, it's more of the same type path system. Some really nice views of the river up there. And there's a beautiful condominium development and parks to the right side, as you see there, and they go for a long ways through that stretch of the park. But I might call it a day.